The sky above Earth had never looked so strange. Across every continent, people noticed a faint shimmer like heat waves dancing in the air. Soon, the shimmer grew into shapes. Massive, gleaming vessels larger than any human city block, hovering silently above the clouds. At first, governments thought it was some natural phenomenon or a meteorological anomaly, but the truth became terrifyingly clear. Humanity was not alone. The aliens had arrived. The ships were elegant, smooth, and unlike anything humans had ever seen. They reflected sunlight like liquid metal and pulsed with a faint blue glow. On board, alien eyes scanned Earth's surface, observing every city, every military base, and every human movement. To the aliens, Earth looked primitive, almost laughable. From the International Space Station, astronauts watched in awe and fear. "They're huge," one whispered into the radio, but awe soon turned into panic as the first communication attempts began. Human satellites sent signals in all languages and all forms of coded messages, but the aliens seemed to ignore them. Then the first broadcast came, a strange musical language that vibrated the atmosphere. When translated by Earth scientists, it was a simple message. "Your planet is insignificant. Your machines are toys, surrender." The world paused. Leaders held emergency meetings in cities around the globe. Soldiers prepared and civilians panicked. Humans were united by fear, yet divided by uncertainty. Could they defend Earth against such a powerful force? And then came the laughter. It was not a laugh humans could hear directly. It was transmitted through their machines, a deep, resonating sound that carried disdain. The aliens mocked Earth's defenses, especially the old military relics. Tanks, artillery, and armored vehicles that had fought wars decades, even centuries ago. In museums, dusty tanks were displayed behind glass. In storage yards, rows of forgotten war machines rusted silently. To the aliens, these were mere toys, reminders of a species that had barely left its own planet. "Look at these pathetic machines." The alien message boomed through human networks. "Your ancestors fought wars with these." How amusing, most humans agreed. Modern militaries with stealth aircraft, drones, satellites, and energy weapons seemed a joke compared to the alien technology. Ships that could crush mountains, weapons that could disintegrate steel, and energy shields that bent light made Earth's defenses appear like paper. Military experts scoffed at the thought that tanks, some dating back to World War II, could ever pose a threat. But not everyone laughed. In a quiet corner of Kansas, in a sprawling warehouse that once served as a tank depot, a small group of engineers and veterans gathered. Their leader, a retired colonel named Mark Harlan, walked among the rows of tanks, his hands brushing the cold steel. Each tank told a story. Each mark and dent spoke of battles fought, of men and women who had risked everything to protect their home. "These aren't just machines," Mark said. "They're history, their ingenuity, and they're going to show the aliens that humans are not so easy to laugh at." Beside him, a young engineer named Lena Ortiz nodded. She tapped on a tablet, displaying schematics of the tanks and potential modifications. "If we combine their armor with modern propulsion and targeting systems, we could make them formidable," she said. "Not just strong, but clever. The aliens expect us to fight like primitives. We can prove them wrong." Others in the room exchanged skeptical glances. One technician laughed nervously. "You really think these old tanks can do anything against those ships? Their energy weapons could melt a mountain." Mark shook his head. "That's exactly why they're perfect. They won't be predictable. We'll adapt, improvise, and use every advantage these machines have. And most importantly, we'll make them human." Word spread quickly within the small task force. Engineers, historians, and military veterans worked side by side. Rusted cannons were polished, engines were replaced, and armor was reinforced with modern alloys. Tanks that had once been museum pieces were now equipped with AI-assisted targeting systems, advanced sensors, and stealth technology. Outside the warehouse, civilians watched in curiosity. Children pressed their faces against fences, imagining the tanks rolling into battle like knights of old. Soldiers trained alongside the engineers, learning tactics that had been forgotten with time. These tactics were simple, yet unpredictable: ambushes, camouflage, and maneuvering that relied on human creativity rather than raw power. Meanwhile, the aliens observed from orbit, still laughing, still certain of humanity's failure. They scanned the Earth, detecting the retrofitted tanks, and dismissed them as insignificant. "Primitive machines with weak minds. They cannot comprehend the universe," the alien commander transmitted. On the night before the first encounter, Mark walked among the tanks. The moonlight reflected off the polished metal, making the machines appear almost alive. He placed his hand on the turret of an old Sherman tank. "You've carried our history," he said softly. "Tomorrow you'll carry our future." At the same time, across the globe, citizens held candlelight vigils. They did not know how humanity would survive, but they prayed for courage and ingenuity. News broadcasts displayed alien ships hovering over cities like silent giants. Panic gripped nations, but so did hope. Hope that humanity's cleverness, determination, and spirit could still matter in a universe that seemed to have forgotten them. The aliens made their first move at dawn. Ships descended from orbit, projecting beams of light that could slice through skyscrapers. Human modern defenses engaged, firing missiles, lasers, and drones. Explosions lit the skies and smoke curled into clouds. But the aliens' technology was far superior, and many defenses failed instantly. Then came the first roar of the tanks. From hidden valleys, warehouses, and fortified positions, the retrofitted machines rolled into battle. Their engines hummed, their tracks gripping the earth with uncanny precision. Old cannons, upgraded with modern energy amplifiers, fired with devastating accuracy. The aliens paused, surprised. They had not expected humans to use these ancient relics in combat. One vessel's energy shield flickered as a tank shell hit it in a concentrated strike. The aliens adjusted their strategy, but human forces moved unpredictably, flanking, retreating, and striking in ways the invaders could not calculate. Back at the command center, Lena watched the monitors with wide eyes. "They're holding their own," she whispered. "They're actually holding their own." Mark's face was grim but determined. "They're not just holding their own. They're showing the universe that humans are more than machines. We think, we adapt, and we fight in ways no algorithm can predict." Across cities, people cheered as reports of the tank's successes reached them. The alien laughter, once deafening, began to falter. Their arrogance, built on the assumption that humanity was weak and primitive, started to crack. The aliens realized too late that humans had a weapon no one could anticipate: their creativity and will to survive. As night fell on the first day of the invasion, the skies were scarred with smoke and light. Some cities lay in ruins, but humans had survived the first encounter. The retrofitted tanks, their engines still warm from battle, stood as silent guardians. Mark looked at the horizon, where alien ships hovered like specters. "This is only the beginning," he said. "They think they've seen our weakness. Tomorrow, they'll see our strength. Tomorrow, humanity will fight not just with machines, but with every bit of courage and ingenuity we've ever had." And somewhere in orbit, the alien commander realized something terrifying. Earth was not a planet to conquer. It was a species to fear. The morning after the first alien encounter, the world was buzzing with both fear and hope. News outlets broadcast the story of the retrofitted tanks that had held their ground. People crowded around screens, whispering in disbelief. How could old tanks survive against them? They asked. Soldiers in every nation shared the story, inspired by the bravery of their ancestors' machines and the ingenuity of modern engineers. In Kansas, Mark Harlan and his team of engineers, soldiers, and historians gathered in the large warehouse where the tanks were being upgraded. The morning sun shone through high windows, illuminating rows of tanks with polished armor. Dust motes danced in the beams of light, making the machines appear almost magical. "Last night was just the beginning," Mark said firmly. His voice echoed in the spacious hall. "We showed them we are not weak. But now we need to turn these machines into something they will fear, something unpredictable." Lena Ortiz nodded, her fingers flying over a tablet as she displayed schematics. "We can enhance the engines with hybrid energy systems, giving the tanks more speed and maneuverability. If we combine that with our AI targeting and advanced sensors, these old machines could outmaneuver even their drones." Another engineer, a quiet man named Jonas, spoke up. "We can also add adaptive armor. It won't just protect from conventional weapons, it could absorb energy blasts and redirect them. We learned some of the alien technology from the first encounter." Mark smiled slightly. "Exactly. They laughed at us because they didn't expect creativity. We will give them chaos, unpredictability. That's humanity's real strength." Over the next days, the warehouse became a hive of activity. Tanks rumbled across the floor as their tracks were reinforced. Engineers installed new engines that hummed with energy. And turrets were upgraded to fire not only traditional shells but also energy-amplified projectiles. Old cannons roared as they were tested, proving they could withstand far more than they were originally designed for. Soldiers trained alongside the machines. They learned old tactics, long forgotten by modern armies, and combined them with new strategies. Ambush drills, flanking maneuvers, and stealth approaches were practiced over and over. Veterans shared stories of past battles, teaching the young soldiers how human ingenuity had always turned the tide in desperate times. Meanwhile, the aliens watched from orbit, still confident. "Primitive machines," their commander said, observing the preparations. "They cannot comprehend the universe's true power. They are amusing but irrelevant." But as humanity worked, something remarkable happened. The tanks, once rigid and predictable, began to seem almost alive. Each machine moved with intelligence, guided by both human operators and AI systems. Engineers and soldiers discovered that when humans adapted old tactics to modern enhancements, the tanks became more than their parts. They became extensions of human creativity and willpower. On a testing ground outside the city, the first full squadron of retrofitted tanks was deployed. Lena and Mark observed from a command tower as the tanks moved in formation. "Watch closely," Lena said. "This is the future of human warfare." The tanks advanced across uneven terrain, using the landscape for cover. They dodged automated drones and avoided traps that had been set to mimic alien attacks. Then, in a sudden coordinated strike, they unleashed their upgraded weaponry. Explosions lit up the testing ground as shells and energy bursts hit targets with precision. The tanks moved unpredictably, splitting up, converging and circling back, showing coordination far beyond what any alien observer might expect. Mark watched, pride in his eyes. "They're learning. Every move, every adjustment, it's human thought at work. We are teaching them to fight in ways that no alien algorithm can predict." The success of the tests brought renewed energy to humanity. Across the world, other countries began upgrading their old machines as well. In Europe, Asia, and Africa, engineers pored over museum tanks, rethinking them for the modern battlefield. Soldiers trained with dedication, inspired by reports from Kansas. People everywhere began to see the possibility that Earth was not defenseless. Even civilians contributed. Mechanics in small towns shared knowledge of engines and metalwork. Students designed clever targeting systems. Historians dug into battle manuals from long ago, finding strategies that could be adapted to new technology. Humanity, united by necessity, was finding its strength in its past. Meanwhile, the aliens began to notice something unsettling. Recon drones sent to Earth's surface returned with reports of tanks moving with surprising coordination, energy bursts destroying automated targets, and humans using terrain in ways that machines alone could not calculate. "What is happening?" the alien commander demanded. "They're machines. They are adapting. They are learning from us, yet they are unpredictable. How is this possible?" Back in Kansas, Mark held a meeting with the core team. "They still underestimate us," he said. "They think we are primitive, that our machines are toys. But they are wrong. These tanks, combined with human strategy, will be the edge we need. We are not just fighting with machines, we are fighting with our minds, our creativity, our history," Lena added. "And the beauty is they don't expect it. Their calculations are based on conventional logic. We are not conventional. That's why we can win." In the evenings, the team held simulations. Tanks navigated complex urban environments, forests, deserts, and mountains. Each scenario tested both the humans and the machines. Soldiers learned to trust their instincts, knowing that improvisation was their greatest weapon. The AI systems learned too, recognizing patterns, predicting alien behavior, and suggesting maneuvers that combined past human strategies with modern intelligence. The morale of the soldiers and engineers rose with every success. They began to see the tanks not as relics but as symbols of human resilience and ingenuity. Even the most skeptical members of the team admitted they had underestimated the potential of these machines. Outside the warehouses, civilians watched the activity with growing excitement. News broadcasts showed tanks moving with purpose, soldiers training with dedication, and engineers adjusting energy weapons with precision. People everywhere began to feel a quiet pride. Humanity, they realized, had a weapon the aliens could never predict: the ability to think, adapt, and fight in ways no machine alone could achieve. The aliens, still observing from orbit, were growing frustrated. Their scanners showed progress in human defenses that they had not anticipated. Ships repositioned, drones were redeployed, but humans always seemed one step ahead, using tactics the aliens had not calculated. "This is unusual," the alien commander said. "Their machines are clever. And the humans, how do they think so quickly? It is chaotic, unacceptable." But humans continued their work, undeterred by alien observation. In Kansas, Mark walked among the tanks, his hand brushing cold metal as he inspected the modifications. "Every machine, every soldier, every idea, it all matters," he said. "The aliens think history is useless. We are proving them wrong. They laugh at us because they don't understand us. They don't understand that the greatest power is human thought." Lena approached him, holding a tablet with new data. The first engagement showed that even small numbers of tanks can hold off their forces. If we expand, train more, and adapt constantly, we could even force them to retreat. "We have a chance, Mark." Mark nodded slowly, eyes fixed on the horizon. "Not just a chance. A promise. Humanity will fight. We will show them that old machines, combined with human creativity, are more powerful than they ever imagined." As night fell, the tanks rested under the moonlight, engines cooling, weapons charged. Soldiers and engineers took a moment to rest as well, knowing that tomorrow they would face the aliens again. This time the stakes were higher. Humanity's ingenuity had been tested once, and now it was time to prove that it could not only survive but prevail. Somewhere above Earth, the alien commander frowned at the reports. "They are adapting. They are unpredictable. We expected obedience and fear. Instead, they are learning. They are dangerous." Mark, looking at the stars, did not know the alien thoughts. But he knew one thing clearly. Humanity was ready. They were not just fighting with machines. They were fighting with every idea, every strategy, every bit of courage that humans had ever known. And the aliens, who had laughed at the sight of old tanks, would soon learn the true meaning of human power. The sky over Earth burned with light as the alien fleet descended once again. This time there was no mistaking their intentions. Massive ships hovered over major cities, their glowing energy weapons scanning the streets below. Sirens wailed in every city, sending civilians rushing to shelters, military forces mobilized. But even their most advanced vehicles and drones seemed small and fragile under the alien gaze. Mark Harlan stood atop a command hill outside Kansas, watching the horizon. He had seen the alien ships once, but this was different. They were not simply observing, they were attacking. His eyes swept across the field where the retrofitted tanks were lined up. Soldiers and engineers were checking final systems, double-checking targeting algorithms, and running last-minute drills. The atmosphere was tense, but it was also electric. For the first time, humans faced an enemy who saw them as insignificant, and for the first time humans were ready to prove otherwise. "They'll hit us hard first," Mark said, speaking to his squad leaders. "We hold, we fight smart. The aliens expect speed and firepower to win. We'll show them strategy, unpredictability, and endurance. Remember, these tanks are not just machines, there are minds and history in motion." Lena Ortiz, standing beside him with a portable monitor, nodded. "The targeting systems are ready and the energy shields are fully operational. Our simulations show they can withstand direct hits that would destroy conventional tanks. They won't expect what's coming." At that moment, a series of pulses flashed across the horizon. Alien energy weapons lit the sky like bolts of blue lightning. Buildings shook as the first strikes landed. Modern military defenses fired back, but many missiles evaporated before they reached their targets. Civilians screamed and ducked for cover, yet in the midst of chaos the tanks began their advance. They moved through abandoned highways, forests, and open plains. Unlike conventional armored units, they did not march predictably. Some split off to flank the alien drones, while others used terrain to hide until the last possible moment. Human crews inside shouted orders, their coordination precise but adaptable. Every tank had been upgraded with advanced sensors and AI targeting, but it was the human instinct combined with technology that made them deadly. The aliens initially did not understand the approach. Their scanning drones assumed humans would act in predictable formations. When one tank suddenly appeared from behind a hill and fired a concentrated energy shell at a hovering alien drone, the drone shuddered and exploded. Another tank emerged from the side of a forest, firing in tandem with an infantry squad that had taken cover behind overturned vehicles. The aliens had never seen such coordinated improvisation. "This is unusual," the alien commander said. his tone sharp with irritation. "They fight like humans. But they are clever, dangerous, adaptable. How is this possible?" But humans didn't wait for the aliens to understand. Mark shouted into the radio, "Focus on movement. Don't just fire. Use cover. Hit weak points. Remember, they calculate power, but they can't predict us." The tanks worked like extensions of the soldiers' instincts. One crew, led by Sergeant Carla Benson, maneuvered through an urban street, dodging alien fire, and placed a series of charges along a bridge. As the aliens pursued, the bridge collapsed, taking several enemy drones with it. Another squad used energy nets to trap smaller alien craft, while the tanks fired concentrated volleys at larger vessels. Civilians, watching from shelters and rooftops, could not believe their eyes. "How can old tanks do this?" they whispered. Children clutched each other, eyes wide with awe, while parents nodded, pride and fear mixing together. News reporters streamed footage live, showing explosions and precise maneuvers that seemed impossible for machines designed decades ago. Mark's voice came over the radios again. "Don't just react, create opportunity. Use their confidence against them. They think our machines are weak. Let's prove them wrong." The battle raged across open fields and city streets. Alien drones swooped down like deadly birds of prey, energy beams slicing through concrete and steel. But the tanks, with reinforced armor and upgraded shielding, absorbed what would have destroyed any modern vehicle. They fired shells that exploded with precision, destroying drones, disabling energy barriers, and shocking the aliens with their resilience. One tank, piloted by a young soldier named Ethan Park, became a hero in the making. He maneuvered through a partially destroyed city, dodging energy blasts while using the crumbling buildings for cover. Ethan targeted a drone command unit, the core of the alien squadron, and fired a concentrated energy shot. The explosion rocked the city block, sending debris flying, and the aliens realized that humans were not only resilient but willing to take calculated risks no machine alone would attempt. Meanwhile, Lena monitored the data from a mobile control unit. "The tanks are outperforming simulations," she exclaimed. "They're adapting faster than we anticipated. Every maneuver they make confuses the aliens more. They can't recalibrate in time." The aliens, previously overconfident, began to falter. Their formation broke as tanks moved unpredictably, appearing in unexpected locations, striking and retreating before energy weapons could respond. One alien vessel, attempting to fire at multiple targets, miscalculated and collided with another, causing a chain reaction that destroyed several drones. Mark watched the battle unfold, heart pounding. "This is exactly what we needed. They think our tanks are relics, but they are extensions of human will, human thought. Every move, every strike, proof that Earth cannot be conquered by arrogance alone." Soldiers reported success after success. Human creativity turned terrain into a battlefield advantage. Forests became traps. Urban ruins became defensive fortresses, and open plains were used for flanking maneuvers that no alien algorithm predicted. Even when some tanks were damaged, crews used ingenuity to repair or reposition them, keeping them in the fight. By mid-afternoon, the aliens began to retreat slightly. They were not defeated, but the tide had shifted. Their confidence, once unshakable, wavered. They realized humans were not predictable, and their strategy, which relied on superior firepower and calculations, was failing against a species that fought with mind, intuition, and courage. In Kansas, Mark turned to Lena. "They're scared. They don't like it when humans fight like this. This is more than survival. This is a message. We are not toys. We are not primitive. We are Earth, and we will fight." Lena nodded, eyes fixed on the screen. "They laughed at us at first. Now they understand we are more than our machines. And this is just the beginning. We've learned their patterns. Tomorrow we'll be ready for more." As night fell, the battlefield grew quiet. Smoke rose from destroyed drones and shattered buildings. But the tanks still stood, engines humming, weapons charged, and crews alert. Humanity had survived its first real battle against the invaders, and had done so with courage, strategy, and the clever use of old technology. Across the globe, people celebrated small victories. Civilians helped clear debris, medics tended to the injured, and soldiers prepared for the next wave. Everywhere the same message was spreading. Humanity could fight back. The alien commander, watching from orbit, frowned as reports of their losses came in. "They are different," he muttered. "They do not calculate. They do not obey patterns. They adapt, improvise, and resist. This is unacceptable. Yet it is effective. They are not weak. They are formidable. Mark, standing atop the command hill, looked at the horizon where the remaining alien ships hovered. They don't know it yet, he said quietly. But they have underestimated humanity. We are not just fighters. We are thinkers. We are creators. And we will show them that the power of Earth is more than technology. It is the human spirit itself. The first contact battle was over, but the war was only beginning. Humanity had learned a valuable lesson. When combined with ingenuity, courage, and history, even old machines could become instruments of extraordinary power. And the aliens who had once laughed at Earth's tanks would soon realize that humanity was a force they could never predict, never fully understand, and could never easily defeat. The sun rose on the fourth day of the invasion, painting the sky in shades of orange and red. Across Earth, the alien fleet still lingered, their massive ships casting shadows over cities and fields. But something had changed. Where fear had ruled before, now determination and strategy guided humanity. The first battle had shown that Earth's defenders could adapt, and the retrofitted tanks had become symbols of hope and ingenuity. Mark Harlan surveyed the battlefield from a high vantage point. Below him, the tanks rolled into position, engines humming with renewed energy. Soldiers moved alongside them, carrying supplies and monitoring equipment, their faces set with focus. Across the plains, forests, and ruined cities, human forces coordinated for a full-scale counteroffensive. Today, Earth would strike back with intelligence, precision, and unyielding resolve. Remember, Mark addressed the assembled commanders. Yesterday, we survived. Today, we fight smart. The aliens rely on raw firepower. We rely on thinking, adaptability, and surprise. Use every trick we've learned. Use the terrain. Use the machines. Use yourselves. Humanity is more than what they see. Lena Ortiz, standing beside him with a portable monitor, pointed to the alien fleet on the screen. Their drones are attempting to reorganize after yesterday's losses. Their ships are repositioning for a coordinated strike, but their formations are predictable if we exploit the terrain. We've studied their patterns and we can trap them. The strategy was daring. Humans would use forests, urban ruins, and mountains as natural shields and ambush points. Tanks upgraded with hybrid engines would move unpredictably, appearing where the aliens did not expect. Infantry units carrying energy-enhanced weapons would coordinate with drones to disrupt alien signals and mislead their targeting systems. Every human soldier and machine would act as part of a single adaptable organism, Earth itself fighting back. As the first wave of alien ships descended, the humans waited silently. From hidden positions, tanks and infantry crews observed their approach, eyes and sensors tracking every movement. Then, with perfect timing, the counteroffensive began. Tanks rolled forward in multiple formations using trenches, hills, and abandoned buildings to mask their advance. Some emerged from forests firing concentrated energy bursts that disabled alien drones. Others moved through open plains, forcing the aliens to split their firepower. Infantry units launched EMP pulses, temporarily disabling drones and weakening shields on larger ships. The aliens, expecting simple resistance, were caught off guard. Sergeant Carla Benson led a squad through a ruined city. She used overturned cars, crumbling walls, and narrow alleys to shield her tanks while targeting enemy drones. "Move fast! Strike hard! Don't give them a pattern to predict," she shouted. Her crew obeyed instinctively, combining human intuition with the machine's strength. In a nearby forest, Ethan Park's tank squad executed an ambush. Hidden behind dense trees, they fired simultaneously at approaching drones, hitting weak points and causing multiple explosions. The sound echoed through the trees like thunder, and for a moment the aliens were thrown into confusion. They had underestimated the humans' ability to use natural terrain creatively. Mark monitored the battle from the hilltop, his eyes scanning the displays. "This is it," he muttered. They thought they could control the fight. But humans never play by predictable rules. They adapt. They improvise. That's why we win. The aliens tried to respond with brute force, firing energy beams that could level mountains and crush entire city blocks. But the tanks' upgraded shields absorbed most of the attacks, while crews used speed and maneuverability to avoid the rest. When a massive beam struck a tank directly, it ricocheted off the reinforced armor, leaving the vehicle nearly unharmed. The aliens' confidence faltered as their calculations proved insufficient against human unpredictability. Lena called over the radio, excitement in her voice. "They're breaking formation. Their drones are retreating. The ships are adjusting for defense." They didn't expect coordinated ambushes combined with terrain and mobility. "It's working." Across the battlefield, humans continued to push. A group of tanks led by veteran Captain Raj Singh used a narrow mountain pass to funnel alien drones into a kill zone. Hidden infantry units unleashed mines that disabled multiple enemy machines, while the tanks fired energy-amplified shells with precision. One by one, the drones fell, their sleek designs no match for human strategy and determination. In urban areas, tanks navigated streets filled with rubble and abandoned cars, using shadows and corners to strike unseen. Citizens hiding safely watched in awe as humanity turned the tide. Engineers had even adapted some old anti-aircraft turrets to fire enhanced shells, providing additional support. Every corner of Earth's defenses moved like a living organism, coordinated and intelligent. The aliens, observing from above, could not understand. They fight unpredictably. Their machines respond instantly to changing conditions. They are adapting faster than we can anticipate, their commander said, frustration and disbelief mixing in their voice. "This is impossible. No primitive species should resist this way." Mark smiled grimly. "They're learning the hard way. Humanity never relies on only one weapon or one tactic. We improvise and we survive. That's what makes us strong." The battle reached its peak when a squadron of alien ships attempted to break the human line in the plains. Human tanks split into two flanks, some charging directly while others circled around to attack from behind. The aliens found themselves caught in crossfire, unable to focus on a single target. Energy beams collided mid-air, causing explosions that sent debris flying. For the first time, humans had forced the alien fleet into disarray. Sergeant Carla Benson's voice came over the radio, triumphant. "They're retreating. Keep pressure on! Don't let them reorganize." Human ingenuity continued to shine. Soldiers used abandoned vehicles as cover, improvised traps and energy pulse devices to disrupt alien sensors. Tanks coordinated with drones, infantry, and artillery to strike critical targets. The battlefield became a testament to the human spirit, combining intelligence, history, and courage to overcome overwhelming odds. By evening, the aliens were forced to withdraw to higher orbit. Their ships were damaged, their confidence shaken, and their plans disrupted. Earth was not defeated. Humans had turned the tide, using every resource at their disposal and proving that strategy, creativity, and adaptability could match even the most advanced technology. Mark stood on the hilltop watching the retreating fleet. His team gathered around him, faces tired but glowing with triumph. "Today," he said, "we showed them that Earth is not a planet to conquer. We are not weak. We are smart. We are adaptable, and we will never be underestimated again." Lena smiled, exhaustion in her eyes but pride in her voice. "They laughed at our tanks. They thought we were primitive. Today they learned we are dangerous, and tomorrow we'll be even stronger." Civilians and soldiers alike celebrated quietly, knowing the war was far from over. But for the first time, humanity knew that victory was possible. Old machines combined with human ingenuity had changed the course of the battle. The aliens who once mocked Earth's history now faced a species capable of turning the simplest tools into instruments of immense power. High above, the alien commander transmitted a message to the fleet. "They are formidable, adaptable. Their unpredictability exceeds calculations. We must reconsider our strategy." Mark looked at the horizon where the alien ships lingered, damaged but still threatening. "They'll be back," he said, "and we'll be ready. Today we fought smart. Tomorrow we'll fight even smarter." Humanity is not just surviving. We're proving that our mind, our courage, and our creativity are more powerful than any technology they possess. As night fell, the tanks rested on the battlefield, engines still warm, weapons charged, and crews alert. Across the globe, humans repaired damaged machines, trained for the next wave, and reinforced cities. Hope had spread everywhere. Humanity had fought the impossible and survived, not just with machines, but with strategy, courage, and relentless ingenuity. And somewhere in orbit, the aliens who had once laughed at Earth's tanks realized the truth. Humanity was not a species to underestimate. They were clever, adaptive, and full of surprises. The next encounter would be even harder, but humanity was ready to meet it head-on. The dawn of the 5th day brought a quiet, tense anticipation across Earth. The alien fleet, battered but still formidable, hovered above the planet, their energy shields flickering from the previous battles. Cities braced for impact, soldiers prepared for combat, and civilians waited holding their breath. Every human knew that today could decide the fate of the world. Mark Harlan stood atop the command hill outside Kansas, overlooking the field where the retrofitted tanks lined up. Their engines hummed like a single living heartbeat. Soldiers adjusted their gear. Engineers checked weapon systems for the final time, and drones buzzed overhead, scanning for alien movement. This was humanity's moment, the culmination of ingenuity, courage, and history. "They think we are weak," Mark said, addressing his team. "They laughed at our old tanks. They underestimated human creativity. Today we show them the true power of Earth. We are not just defending our homes, we are defending the human spirit itself." Lena Ortiz nodded beside him, her eyes fixed on a portable monitor. "The tanks and infantry are fully integrated with our drones and targeting systems. Their shields can withstand direct hits, and our mobility allows us to outmaneuver even their largest ships. If we execute the plan perfectly, we can force them to retreat, or worse, make them realize they cannot win." The alien fleet advanced, a wave of silver and blue energy glinting in the morning sunlight. Massive ships emitted low hums, their sensors scanning for weaknesses. Drones swarmed below like metallic locusts, firing concentrated energy pulses that could crush vehicles and buildings alike. Earth's defenders waited, poised and silent, a calm eye in the storm. Then the counteroffensive began. Tanks surged forward in multiple formations, using hills, forests, and ruined city streets to hide their true strength. Infantry units moved in synchrony, setting traps, laying mines, and firing energy-enhanced weapons. Drones zipped between tanks, providing reconnaissance and targeting data, creating an integrated living battlefield. The aliens were caught off guard. They had expected panic, predictable resistance, and fear. Instead, they faced strategy, coordination, and unexpected attacks from every angle. Tanks emerged suddenly from cover, firing volleys at drones, while infantry triggered EMP pulses that disrupted alien targeting systems. The sky erupted in flashes of blue and orange as energy beams clashed with human ingenuity. Sergeant Carla Benson led a squad through the urban ruins. Her tank moved between collapsed buildings, dodging energy beams with precision. "Keep moving. Use every corner. Strike when they least expect it," she shouted. Her crew followed instinctively, their coordination flawless. Every shot counted, every maneuver was calculated yet unpredictable. In the plains, Ethan Park's squad executed a daring flank. They lured alien drones into a valley filled with traps and hidden artillery. When the aliens pursued, a coordinated strike detonated the charges, destroying dozens of drones and leaving larger ships exposed. "It's working!" Ethan shouted over the comms. "They can't predict us." Mark watched from the hilltop, pride swelling in his chest. "This is humanity at its finest," he said. "We are not just surviving. We are thriving. Every move, every strike proves that we are clever, adaptable, and strong." Meanwhile, the aliens scrambled to adjust. Ships fired energy beams indiscriminately, trying to crush the advancing humans. Drones swooped to intercept tanks, but the humans' unpredictable patterns, combined with enhanced shielding, caused many to miscalculate. Explosions rocked the battlefield, but humans remained relentless, striking weak points and avoiding direct confrontations when necessary. Lena monitored the battle from the command unit, voice tense but excited. "The aliens are losing formation. Their drones are retreating to regroup. Tanks are targeting energy nodes on the larger ships. If we keep this pressure, we can force them to disengage completely." Mark's strategy relied on unpredictability. Tanks split and merged, some appearing where the aliens did not expect, while others created diversions. Infantry moved like shadows, striking key targets and disappearing before alien sensors could react. Old machines, upgraded with human ingenuity, danced across the battlefield with precision and speed. A massive alien ship attempted to strike at the heart of the human line. Its energy cannon glowed, ready to fire a beam that could level an entire city block. But Mark anticipated it. He ordered a decoy squad to engage the ship, drawing its fire while hidden tanks and artillery targeted its weak points. Concentrated volleys struck the alien vessel, disrupting its energy shields and causing cascading failures. Smoke and sparks erupted as the ship staggered, revealing vulnerabilities the humans exploited immediately. Soldiers cheered as one by one, alien drones and ships were disabled. Tanks maneuvered with unmatched skill, hitting targets with precision and retreating before counterattacks could land. Even civilians contributed, guiding drones, providing intelligence, and clearing debris to create strategic paths for the human forces. Every person, every machine, every idea combined to form a force that the aliens had not anticipated. The aliens' commander, observing from orbit, realized the truth. They are not weak. They adapt. They think. Their creativity exceeds calculations. They are not just survivors, they are strategists. They are formidable. We underestimated them. On the battlefield, Mark led the final push. The tanks advanced in a coordinated strike, flanking the remaining alien ships and cutting off retreat paths. Infantry units targeted energy cores, while drones disabled communication arrays. Each move was deliberate, every strike calculated to maximize disruption. The largest alien ship, a gleaming fortress of metal and energy, attempted a desperate counterattack. Its energy cannon fired a continuous beam, aimed at the heart of the human line. Tanks charged through using terrain and speed to dodge the beam, while artillery targeted the ship's engines. Explosions rocked the vessel, tearing open its armor and forcing it to retreat. Humanity had achieved the impossible. The alien fleet, battered, confused, and demoralized, began to withdraw. Ships rose to orbit, leaving drones behind that were systematically destroyed by the remaining human forces. Cheers erupted across Earth as news spread. Humanity had not only survived the invasion, they had turned the tide. Mark stood among the tanks, looking at the horizon where alien ships receded. Exhaustion and relief mixed in his expression. They laughed at us, he said quietly. They thought we were primitive. They thought history was useless. Today we proved them wrong. Earth is not weak. Humanity is not weak. We are clever, resilient, and unstoppable when we work together. Lena smiled beside him, eyes bright with pride. The tanks, the soldiers, the civilians, we all played our part. They underestimated our mind, our courage, and our creativity, and that's why we won. Across the globe, celebrations erupted. Soldiers repaired their machines. Civilians cheered in streets, and nations shared news of the victory. Humanity had faced an enemy with superior technology, and survived through intelligence, strategy, and determination. The once mocked tanks, relics of a forgotten era, had become instruments of triumph, a reminder that history, when combined with innovation, could shape the future. High above Earth, the alien commander transmitted a final message. We underestimated you. Your resilience and creativity are formidable. We withdraw for now, but we will return. Prepare yourselves. Mark looked up at the sky, unafraid. Let them come back, he said firmly. They have learned the hard way. Humans cannot be underestimated. We fight with mind, with courage, and with the heart of our history, and we will always defend our home. As night fell, Earth breathed a collective sigh of relief. The tanks rested, engines cooling, weapons charged, crews alert. Soldiers and civilians alike celebrated, knowing that they had faced impossible odds and triumphed. Humanity had shown the universe that old machines, combined with clever minds and unyielding spirit, could become unstoppable forces. The alien fleet had laughed, they had mocked, and they had come with confidence. But they had left humbled, reminded that Earth was not to be taken lightly. And humanity, united and strengthened by its ingenuity, looked forward with hope, ready to face whatever challenges the future might bring. The ancient tanks, polished and battle-ready, rolled silently across fields and cities. To the humans, they were more than machines. They were symbols of courage, history, and the power of the human mind. And the universe had learned a lesson that would echo through the stars. Never underestimate humanity.